For those who don't know us, I'm Karen.
I'm Christopher.
And we are CK Customs PA. We're also two of your admins for Cricut Help Desk Unofficial. And for the past 12-ish weeks, we've been doing a live class once a week. We're working on adjusting our schedule, so the last few weeks it's been a little more erratic as to when those classes are, but we're still trying to get them in once a week, as well as some other videos for you. This week being kind of that whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday week-long events and sales.
Craziness.
Christopher's been on lives a lot more, trying to keep you guys informed of that stuff. But tonight we're gonna do a double. We're gonna do a quick class on HTV, and then we're gonna do a Christmas craft. In fact, we're gonna use our new heat press mini during our craft. So I'll go ahead and plug that in so it can start warming up for us. Make sure I don't knock anything over. Turn it around. So yeah, that's pretty much what's gonna go on here in a moment. Let me see what this is set to. I'm gonna put it all the way up.
I don't think we need to go all the way up. I think we're good with the first setting, actually.
Okay, first one?
Yes.
Okay. We'll try it with the first one. We'll let that heat up while we're talking about HTV. I was like, ooh, it made a fun noise. It's
Oh, I think it's already at temperature.
It's at temp.
Wow, that heated up fast.
It's hiding.
Oh.
Put it there. See, it's green now. Yeah, that did. So we just got the heat press mini on Saturday.
Yes, we did. On Saturday.
It was kind of an impulse buy, but kind of not. We've been thinking about it.
Yeah, so with the heat press mini, we were randomly at Walmart and happened to have a gift card we weren't expecting given to us, and picked it up. I've been looking at doing quite a few different crafts. As you can see, some of the stuff we have laid out on the table in front of us, we have some wooden ornaments, and that's the route we were looking to go with the little guy here.
Lois, you can be our heat press mini expert and tell us all the things we're doing wrong.
Yeah, because we're used to using our 15 by 15 heat presses, and
yeah, we kind of jumped right into those. We never bothered to get the easy presses, but now we have one. Now we have a little mini. So anyway, let's jump in. Let's talk about HTV, because I see a lot of questions on Facebook, and so I want to just kind of clear things up, and hopefully it'll help some people understand how to use HTV, and all of that. And now I'm basically going to be talking about some of the basics. So your basic color, I have some scraps here that I'm going to kind of pull apart in a moment. Glitters, if you can see, that one's glittered. The same will apply to your holographics. And the reason I'm saying, glitter holographic is you'll have to take these lessons lightly when you come to your patterned HTVs, because not all patterned HTV is created the same. But your glitters should pretty much be following what we're going to talk about, and your basic colors, which are, your Caesar Easy Weed, your Caesar Easy Weed Stretch, your metallics, your thermoflexes, who else? All of your custom house brands, your Walla Cuts, your Happy Crafters vinyl.
Yeah, Happy Cut.
All of those solid color ones, all of the glitters and holographics that they come out for heat transfer vinyl. Also the same as iron-on. So your Cricut iron-on series will all apply to this. So the first thing I wanted to do is kind of talk about the feel of these pieces of HTV here. So I have 4 pieces here. And let me put the glitter down for a moment. And the white one down. So I have these 2 blues. And if I flip them around, one is blue on the back and one is white on the back. So I know everybody talks about shiny side down, and that's true. But what is also good to start to learn is the feel of these. So your shiny side is actually a harder plastic. And that's important because then when you start to get to your whites, it becomes more difficult to see the differences. You know, the shine is still there on your shiny side. But if you can start to feel the differences, your vinyl side, your back that you're cutting into, is going to feel a little more kind of rubbery or silicone feeling almost. I know I can feel it the most with my nail actually, where the hard plastic side is much smoother and harder. So if we talk about the anatomy of HTV, and I'm going to actually pull out my Caesar weeding tool here and pull up a piece of the vinyl. So this here is that hard plastic piece that we talked about. And this piece I pulled off of it is the vinyl. So you can see on this side I have the hard plastic, and on this side is the vinyl. The hard plastic, a lot of them are sticky, so you can probably hear my finger sticking to it. Some of them aren't, though. Some of them are just a pressure static to hold the vinyl on. But this hard piece is your carrier sheet. So you don't want to cut through this. And that's why we say put that piece, that hard plastic piece, down on your mat. Your vinyl side, where I have this piece of blue vinyl up, that is what you're actually cutting into, and why you cut it backwards, because then when you go to press it, you need that vinyl on your garment, and that plastic sheet is now on top for pressing. Okay, so that is kind of the anatomy of your HTV, and I'll just pull this part a little more. So carrier sheet, you don't want to cut through. I mean, you're going to likely have problems if you try to, and we see a lot of that on Facebook, is they try to cut through this piece and it just doesn't work, because really this much softer piece here is what your blade is cutting through when you select your vinyl setting or your iron-on setting. So that is true for all of these pieces. There's a piece of white, and the same thing for this that doesn't even have a blue background. Your color is actually coming through that clear plastic sheet, but you need to be cutting into the back side. And then the same here for your glitter is, I'm looking at the glitter here, but it's actually covered by the clear plastic, and you need to make sure you're cutting through this back side. So clear plastic down on your mat to cut through the back. So let's look at how you cut them. And I'm going to switch my screen here. So I have this design here for Craft Life, and I've already sent it to my mat. Like we talked about, you need to mirror the image because you're cutting into the back side. So on the left of your design space, you have your mirror option. Turns that into reverse. And then when you go to your next screen, you'll connect to your Cricut. Now I have a Maker, and what I recommend if you have an Explorer Air 2 is to use your custom setting on your knob so that you can come into Design Space to select from the different materials. I have several of them that I've starred as my favorites. So if it's just my regular vinyl, I'll use the everyday iron-on setting. But if you're going to use a glitter, or you're going to use a holographic, look for those types of materials in Design Space. They have one for metallic vinyl. If you don't have them right here available, you can click Browse All Materials in the top right. And they're there. You can also use the search and type in like the word glitter. And I'm going to hit enter. So now we see the different glitter options that they have built into Design Space. And you can see the one I have starred as the one I use frequently when I'm cutting my glitter vinyl. So iron-on, though, is that Cricut terminology for heat transfer vinyl, or HTV,
Mhm.
whereas this glitter vinyl is actually the one they use for the adhesive vinyls, your permanent, your removable vinyls. So you want to look for those iron-ons if you're cutting HTV, and then just look for the closest match to what you're cutting, even if it's not the same brand. So like I said, I have the glitter one favorited. I have metallic vinyl, and I should probably look to see if they have a metallic iron-on, to be honest. They may. That might be my mistake. Holographic iron-on I use. I have flocked iron-on. And I do work with printables as well. We just aren't showing any of that in today's demonstration. So make sure you just pick what seems appropriate. And that's really how I get the best cut results. So if I come back to here, I do have one design that I cut prior. It's already weeded. I don't know if it's better on or off the parchment paper there. You can see it there. So this was cut on the back side where everything is reversed and weeded that way. So your carrier sheet remains solid. So if I go to put this on a shirt or something, I'll put it then right side up with my carrier on top to be pressed. So does anybody have any questions about HTV, or is there anything else that you wanted to cover the HTV?
So I think for the most part, we've been covering a lot of what I've been seeing because um, I know there's just been tons of new Cricut users joining our communities um, with the sales and everything that's been going on with the holiday season. You know, along with the holidays come all the Cricut sales and everything else, um, and the flood of all the new users. And I love it because we can help share what we know. Um, but the majority of what I've been seeing is what we've covered: the putting the iron on the mat upside down for HTV, because they're looking at thinking that they're doing it the same way they would do normal adhesive vinyl. So we want to do to make sure that we do put the carrier sheet down, so pretty side down, as a lot of people term it, um, and then mirror your design and cut it in reverse, and then weed it.
Lois,
Yeah,
so you use parchment paper between the press and the transfer sheet. So yeah, parchment paper or what do they call those sheets?
it's a Teflon
The
sheet
Teflon
or
sheets.
a silicone. Um, they also make a silicone sheet that's along the lines of a Teflon sheet.
So, and for those that don't know what Lois is talking about, um, and Lois, even for like this one, my carrier sheet here, my plastic, covers my entire design. You don't actually need to put anything on this to press it, but if you press this and then you pull off your carrier, so now your design is on your garment, and let's say you wanted to add some accents into here, that's when you want to make sure you're using your Teflon sheet or your parchment to cover the full design so that your vinyl that's then exposed doesn't adhere or get stuck to the top of your press, if that makes sense. So you're really covering any of the exposed vinyl on your second, third, etc. layer, where your first layer is actually already protected by the carrier sheet itself.
Unless you're using a standard home iron, in that case, you definitely do want to use parchment paper or something else along those lines, um, because a home iron gets hot spots. It doesn't have an even heating element all the way through, where the Cricut Easy Press is designed to have even heat distribution all the way through, as is a actual heat press for t-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I do use, I have lots of parchment paper. I do use it just as a backing, a temporary backing after I've weeded my designs, just to prevent extra dust from getting onto the sticky part of the carrier sheet before I press it. I have designs that I've weeded well in advance. Or I'm weeding a bunch and just stacking them up. I'll use my parchment paper to keep those from sticking to each other. And like I said, the dust and hairs, we have cats, so cat hair, from getting on the sticky carrier sheet. So it doesn't happen so much with the pressure sensitive carriers. But I don't know. Those ones are a little harder to work with sometimes. I like the sticky ones. Those are my preference.
I like the sticky ones, the pressure ones, and the static ones are the ones that don't
I thought the
actually have
static is held by
static.
pressure.
I don't know.
There's some that aren't sticky, and
and
those ones,
yes,
I'm not as big a fan of because I make mistakes. I'm human, and so sometimes I'll quiet you.
Oh, it's
It's
auto
beeping.
It turns off on its own.
Yeah, it's not off yet, but it's thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I saved it. Yeah, I make mistakes, and I'll accidentally grab the corner of something that I meant to keep down on the carrier. So I like the sticky ones, so I can just push them back down and move on.
Yep.
Right. Now you know why you use it. How do you tell the difference between a hot peel and a cold peel? Very easily. Manufacturer's instructions. They're all different. And even within the manufacturers, and they have all their different, this type, that type, the other type, you know, your holographic, your metallics, your regular colors, your printables, your patterns, embossed. Gosh, they just go on and on. Flock.
Mm-hmm.
You have to check the manufacturer's instructions. And it'll tell you. It'll tell you what temperature. It'll tell you for how long. It'll tell you the amount of pressure, and then the peel. Cold, hot, warm, peel.
So the nice thing is for like with Caesar, you can actually go to Caesar North America, their website, and they actually have a PDF you can get and print off and have right next to your press that tells you your pressing temperature, your pressure, and your peel instructions: hot, cold, warm.
Yeah, we keep a lot of cheat sheets around. We have some by the presses.
We laminate those ones.
The ones by the presses are laminated. So we do. We have the Caesar PDF we've printed and laminated. We have I don't know if it's a paper or a booklet. We have something over there for Thermoflex. We have Happy Cut over there. So yeah, we just keep our little cheat sheets nearby. And we just quickly check them when we're getting ready to press. So that we know when we're going in, like I said, for how long, at what temperature, all of that. And then the peel. So yeah. Good question though. Fantastic question.
Most Cricut iron-ons are a cold peel, but you can actually go to Cricut. They have a temperature instructions for page for the Easy Presses that actually tell you peel instructions for the vinyl as well.
Yep.
As the temperature for the Easy Press.
Yeah. So again, it's just pointing back to your manufacturer of what material, what vinyl you're using.
Yep.
I've heard a lot of people ask like what vinyl or what temperature they can use with a specific type of shirt. It really goes back to the vinyl. So if you have a shirt and it's made of certain materials, you check the vinyl. Can this vinyl be used on that material? There's vinyls for polyester, there's vinyls for cotton, there's vinyls for mixes, there's vinyls for nylon, and all of that. So it still goes back to your vinyl's instructions, both on what you're putting it on and how you're putting it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have your low temps, your high, and you know, just all across the board. Your manufacturers will have all that information.
Yep. We ready to move on to a little craft here?
I think so.
All right. So I think before we flip camera views, I want to talk about what we've done in advance, maybe?
Yes.
So, and we have two different ones. We're going to see how they work out, actually. So we're going to do Christmas ornaments. We have these wood circles. They've been stained.
The one on your left
this is dark walnut.
Sealed.
Right. This is dark walnut. This one is, what's this stained with?
That's natural.
With natural.
So it's a light natural stain.
What kind of wood is this?
Those are pine, so lodgepole pine rounds.
So he cut these down. He sanded them. We stained them. This one, you might be able to see it's shinier, has been sealed. So we've been playing around with sealing before applying HTV versus after. So we're going to do both and see how that works out. And we're going to use the mini Easy Press. Right now we have it on the lowest heat setting. And we've cut HTV. So we have this Oh Dear that I'm going to put on one. And we have Oh Holy Night for the other. So I'm going to switch our camera view and we're going to put these on and do some pressing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all there is to it. We're going to see, like I said, how they go. They should both, looking at knowing what vinyls these are, they should both be warm to hot peels. Some of the more basic colors aren't as finicky as like your metallics and your glitters and your flock and all of that. Okay, let me switch the view. Quit talking and switch the view.
We're also having fun and pressing on wood. So a little bit different than pressing on a shirt.
Yeah, so you're just to quickly talk about the other, I think I want it on this side, on the other vinyl, quote unquote. So your adhesive vinyls need to be on really clean, smooth surfaces. They really talk about they're best on glass, metal, non-porous. So that's why we've been trying to lean toward the HTV for wood. Wood is porous. So the hope is that it's going to adhere and melt the adhesive that's on the back of HTV into the wood.
Yep. Do you have another parchment?
I can have this one.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see if that's where you want it. Go ahead and record. And let's give this guy a go.
So again, it's on the lowest heat temperature right now, and we're just, like I said, we're kind of testing to see how this turns out with one being already sealed and one not. I think that'll be pretty good for that one. How long are you gonna how long are we pressing them for? What's our thought?
About 10 seconds on each.
So he's putting good firm pressure on it, and then he's gonna move it to or maybe he already did, I missed it, to the other sections.
So
we tried doing this with our large presses, and the problem is the wood's not totally flat, so the big press doesn't get into the nooks and crannies that we're hoping the Easy Press Mini is going to.
Just a little bit more. I'm going to turn that up just a hair.
So I guess we're up here now on the camera. So we've got it now set to 2. We're waiting for those to turn green. And see how that goes. And he's working on the one with the seal on it. So what did we seal it with?
Polyacrylic.
Okay. So with polyacrylic.
That is ready.
We need like a little timer or a little Jeopardy theme song going on. I don't want to do it. I don't want Facebook to kick us off.
Yeah, no. Don't need copyright issues.
But yeah, we're just pressing it similar to how you would press if it was onto a garment. So we're left the carrier sheet on, and I can hear it. I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign, but I can hear it sizzle. What do you see in there? They can't see what you're doing.
Nice and warm.
Can I push on this one?
Yeah.
So we are using the parchment paper on these.
So I don't need more heat.
More just to be cautious.
On this one. Again, we're just playing with this. I got the lower part. So this antler needs more. The words are good. That antler corner needs more.
So one thing we have seen about the Cricut Easy Presses, not just the mini, but all of them, is you don't move them around like an iron. You just push down in one spot. It needs that consistent pressure and temperature on the spot, rather than kind of moving and gliding it over, trying to get the whole thing at once. You have to just do it in parts.
So I'm not trying to set it to the highest with the wood because the wood has nothing to dissipate the heat into other than the wood itself. So as soon as it gets hot, it's going to hold that heat and for a while. So it's one of those ones of.
But we'll try, Lois. We might get there.
We might get
if
there.
we can't get it to press at a lower temp.
At the moment, all I have is just these two upper antlers that didn't quite grab. So we're going to heat this guy one more time while she's looking at that one.
You want this?
Yeah.
Look at us sharing.
Those antlers. Yeah.
So this one actually is coming right off. Nothing pulled up. I might throw the parchment on it one more time. But I'm just trying to look for any issues or anything. But that one came off easy. And remember, this is the one where we did not seal it in advance. We will likely seal them afterward, just to seal the wood. I'm gonna hit it again for good measure. See, I think the answer is gonna be to
I think it's gonna be
seal after.
Sealing after.
The polyacrylic seems to be affected by the heat.
That and this one might be leaking or pulling. The heat might be drawing the sap out of the dead center too.
And then it has nowhere to go.
Yeah, because it has a nice knot right dead middle, and that's going to pull sap.
All right. So let's see if I can get it so you guys can pick it up with the lighting. Oh, there it goes. Real nice.
That one's really good. This one, not quite so much. So, again, we're testing.
Let me see. Yeah, I think we'll go with the seal after approach.
The sealed ones work great with just normal adhesive vinyl.
It's hard for you guys to see in the camera because I'm trying to get it on screen and it's not really working out too well. Maybe if I flip back. It's the polyacrylic is not happy.
Yeah.
And if you can see in the center, it's bubbled up. So, I think for the win, I would recommend HTV nicely onto the wood. Like, it's not lifting or anything at all. I'm going to turn this off for our safety. How do I turn this thing off? There we go. We hope you enjoyed that video about HTV and that little Christmas craft. If you did, please like our video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Happy crafting!